All right. So I'm super excited to share with you guys this next interview. I have Jody Ohama, the managing partner of RedBloom Salons, here with us today. So welcome, Jody.
Oh,
Well, I would love to just start off by you telling us a little bit more about RedBloom Salons. What makes you guys different? How did you get started? All that kind of stuff.
oh, thanks, Lisa. Um, we got started in 2004, and the salons themselves were started by Troy Winget. He is the founder of RedBloom, and he really started the salons with the intention. He'd worked in a couple different salons in Calgary, and he really wanted something that was like more of a team and just doing really great hair. So he opened his first salon in 2004 with 4 people. And since then we've grown, we're now 4 salons, over 70 people. I joined the company in 2009. And really my role was to, help sort of create the vision and the leadership and the support and the culture. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey. So we do hair, we're a hair salon. But really I think what we do differently is we're really focused on not only great hair, but a great experience. So that's kind of like what we do.
That's great. And I can attest to that. I'm a client of RedBloom myself, and the experience is just so fantastic, right from when you walk in the door through getting your hair done to what happens, with the follow-up afterwards.
Oh, yay. Thanks, Lisa. That's great to hear.
Yeah, for sure. So what would you say that you love most about your guys' industry?
Oh man, I think it's one of the only industries or one of the only professions where people have this ability to make this huge impact on someone. Like, it's crazy when someone feels good about themselves, like they walk differently, they face the world differently. And being a hairstylist, there's something special about what happens between a client and a stylist. I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden, when you find that right stylist or you have that right connection, it is, things get like people pour their hearts out and, they put a lot of trust in their stylist. So yeah, I think that's what I love the most is that we have this ability to make people look and feel great.
That makes sense. And would you say for you yourself personally, where did your kind of journey begin before you were with RedBloom and then when you joined RedBloom? I'd love to hear a little bit about that story too.
Yeah, crazy. So I was in the beauty industry. I was a makeup artist. So similar thing, I loved this ability to make people feel great. But I also had this sort of love-hate with the makeup industry because I also was concerned about it preying on people's insecurities. And so I did that freelance for about 5 years. And then I started working for a company, a big salon here in Calgary, and I became an educator for their team in makeup specifically. And then I started going to U of C, learning adult education, got my adult education certificate. And so my passion was really about development of people. Naturally, I started working for Aveda. And naturally what happened is I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. I always knew I wanted to work hard for myself and empower people around me. So I had met Troy in the late 90s, and we just hit it off and, had really, really similar, like heart-centered leadership, really, wanted to create something great that was financially sustainable, that provided a career. Like, it is not an easy career. Hairstylists, they're on their feet all day. They work evenings and weekends. So people who choose this career really have, they have to love it. Like, they have to really be committed to it. So we wanted to create a place where people could come and they could have a great career, make great money, have a great life, love what they do and continue to be passionate. And yeah.
Awesome. So it sounds like really heart-centered leadership is super important to you then.
Yeah,
that's great. Would you say that over the years there was, I'm sure there were many, but a big aha moment for you?
Oh my gosh, yes. Many, but probably the biggest one in the last maybe the last 5 years, the biggest one, going from a team of 20 in 2009 to now over 70. I think the biggest aha was, hey, I can't do it on myself, or nor do I want to do it by myself. So I think the biggest aha was, getting a lot of people involved, and also, creating that space for not necessarily failure, but to make mistakes. Like, I want us to make mistakes, but rebound from them quickly, just move quickly and learn from them. But yeah, so I think the biggest aha was getting other people involved, and also creating that space where people can, find their own way. If here's the objective, like, clearly paint the picture, here's the objective,
Right.
but allow them to find their way.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So would you say, is there, one specific reason as to why, and I know there are many, but as to why people are choosing RedBloom over other brands in the city?
I honestly think it's, of course, consistency is key, but I honestly think it's because we love what we do. And, when I say great hair, of course, like, everybody expects to go to a salon and have great hair. And we're super committed to having the most technically educated stylists in the city. But I think even just as important, or maybe even more important, is the experience that people have when they come in with us. It really is about the guest. A guest, we focus a lot on listening and consultation, because a hairstylist can have great ideas of what would look good on someone, but it really has to fit what someone feels comfortable with, and a true expression of who they are. Well, I think that's why people choose us. Hopefully, I don't know, like, hopefully they continue to choose us. We keep doing that.
That makes sense. Well, it certainly felt to me when I was there that it was very customer centric, and I certainly felt heard. So that's fantastic insight. I kind of a curveball question, but how would you feel that your guys' culture lives, those values that you were just talking about?
Oh, I think we practice what we preach. It's not, we do a ton of community things. We really are about empowering and helping others. And it's not about, we do that because we want to do it. It's not about marketing, or not about saying that we did something. We do a lot of things behind the scenes that we don't tell people. So I think our culture lives it. We're a big family. Like, oftentimes we spend more time with each other than we do with our own families. So we're pretty fiercely supportive. Like, we're, if someone's having a bad day, we support them, but we also don't allow bad days to ruin, what we're there for.
That makes sense. So a really uplifting culture then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice. And I've heard you talk about your team quite a bit. Who would you say, I'd love to hear your key players. Who are your key players in your company? And not necessarily even, staff, but there may be external consultants that you use. Anybody that really you feel is positively impacting RedBloom.
Oh my goodness. Our key players. That's hard to say who are key players. Sure, our guests are key players. Like, we solicit and ask for advice. Like, we truly ask with open minds and open hearts, what can we do differently, or how can we be better for our guests? So I think our guests are key players. The industry does change, maybe at a slower pace than other industries, but we try to be innovative that way. Our key players are staff, like the people who are our frontline people, like our receptionists. They really kind of have their finger on the pulse of the business, because they're the first point of contact, the last point of contact. We use a company. I work with a company in the States. I actually teach with them, called Unity, and they're consultants, and they consult for business for creatives. So how to teach creatives, to kind of be more business minded, or to take care of themselves and live prosperous lives.
Nice.
So their systems and tools have really impacted our business. They've been great.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So let's switch gears to obstacles, because I'm sure over the years it hasn't always been easy. What would you say was like the biggest obstacle that you guys have had to overcome?
The biggest obstacle, I think when we grew from when we went to 3 salons from 2, we're like, oh, it's probably not going to be too much different. But it was quite a bit. I think they say the same thing with like kids. Oh, if you have 2 kids, the third one's not going to make a difference. No, it was a pretty big learning opportunity. I think that no longer am I the only one doing all the interviewing or all the intake of new people. The obstacles, I think, the biggest obstacle I think is when we bring someone on the team for that first few months, if they're not a right fit, sometimes that, it is, yeah, like sometimes that's been an obstacle. But we haven't really had a challenge, thankfully, knock on wood, we're a salon of choice. So we have lots of people who want to work with us. And even, we opened our newest location a year ago. So kind of in a downturn economy, but it's still doing well. And we have, the support from the community has been amazing. And yeah.
That's fantastic. That's really great. So I'd love to talk a little bit about rituals or things that you guys do on a regular basis to help move your business forward. So that might be for you personally, daily rituals, but also things that your team does that's always pushing you ahead.
That's great. Well, we set our schedules. So we have our leadership team. We have daily, weekly, seasonally. So we, instead of doing monthly, we do a season, which is about 6 weeks, quarterly and yearly kind of rituals that we do.
Nice.
And then everyone across our team, we have it's called a Q plan. It's from that community program that I was talking about, but it's like a vision board. So each person in our company creates a vision, like their vision of prosperity, what that looks like. So what does a prosperous life look like? And we check in with those daily. So there's a visual side and then there's a tech side. And the tech side is more of, okay, well, what am I doing today to help me live this prosperous life? Really, really great as an individual, because at any time I can ask myself, hey, are my actions in line with what I'm wanting to create? And as coaches, it's really great because we can also help coach that way of saying, hey, like, are your actions in line with what you're trying to create or what you said you wanted to create? So that's a really great daily ritual that we have. But our connections, we have meetings, we have this big plan. I don't know if you can see it kind of behind me, this colorful, it's a colorful 8 seasons planner. We use this and we plan out as much as we can for our year, and our marketing, our education, our client incentives. Like we plan out as much as we can.
That's
advance. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's really great. And then, so that's kind of internally. What about externally? Are there things that, you always do with a client that are kind of, that may be different than what other salons might do?
Oh, yes. So, yes. Okay. We have a consultation. We call it the RedBloom consultation. Of course, every time you go to a hair salon, you expect that you're going to have a consultation with the stylist before they just get right in there. Ours is a little bit different because it's, we guarantee that during the consultation, you're going to, of course, find out all your desires and things like that and have some options. But what sets us apart is that we do give a price quote. So we'll tell the guests what that, their desired hair, this is what it would cost. That service. And we also, as a professional, we tell the guests what their scalp and their hair type is, like what we're seeing. We're the ones that are educated, so we share that with the guests. We also let them know, how long is that maintenance going to be? So someone like myself with really, really short hair, if I came in and I sat at a stylist chair and said, hey, I want to have short hair, and that stylist said, yeah, great, but I wasn't prepared to come back every 3 weeks to have it redone or touched up, it's going to look bad after 4 weeks. So the goal really is to make sure that our guests leave with great hair and that they come back, that they never have a bad hair day. We want our guests to have great hair days all the time. So that's something consistent that we do on a every guest basis.
I love it. That's fantastic. So what would you say is your proudest moment in your business?
Oh my God. There's so many, when people buy houses or they go on vacation, that makes me really proud. The proudest moment probably as a business. 5 years ago, we were honored with named as a top 200 salon in North America. So wow. There's this magazine. It's kind of like, it is the hair. They're kind of the I don't know what I would call it, but they're the be all of hair. So they own some hair magazines, and they work a lot with a lot of different distributors, and they're not a product focus. So it's Modern Salon and Salon Today magazine. So every year they put on this top 200, and you have to enter, and it's like you write essays, and it's open book. You have to give them all your financials and your credentials, and they ask. Sometimes they'll do interviews with staff. So 5 years ago we entered and we won, and we've won every year since, which has been, it's pretty amazing to be recognized in our industry, like that we're doing something right and that we're continually pushing the bar and, you know, pushing the envelope as to what we can accomplish in this industry. So probably one of the proudest. Yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Very cool. So would you say you guys have primarily grown by word of mouth? Would be my guess, just based on the experience, which is something to write home about in itself.
Yeah, for sure. I think people, you know, finding stylists, it's very personal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's very personal, and it's about, of course, like that great hair, like I said, but you want to have a connection with your stylist too. So yeah, absolutely.
What would you say has been your guys' key to your success so far?
You know, pushing, just continuing to be better, like do better, you know, loving what we do, making it better when we've made a mistake. I think I think the key is just, you know, that we truly care about what it is that we do, and we truly care. It's people over profits, 100%. Yeah.
That's really great. Really great. And it says something about your brand and about your culture for sure.
Hey.
So if you're looking back now to when you guys first started, is there anything that you might have done differently?
I would, probably, of course, right?
Yeah.
You know, we would probably, you know, we would probably let go of people quicker. Like some people who we had in the company would probably let them go quicker. You know, we would change our software sooner. we had to do a big software change just over a year ago. I think that, like, you know, those are the big ones. But
that makes sense. And as a leader in your industry, I'm sure if you were seeing somebody else start up another salon, are those the types of lessons that you would share with them, or are there other things that advice that you might say, hey, don't do this, make sure you do that?
The number one thing I think for anyone starting a salon would be to learn business. I think a lot of people who open salons are stylists first.
Right.
And it's a very different skill set running a business than working behind the chair. So, I think for sure that's a downfall I see in our industry. You know, salons who close because they don't know how to lead a business. So I think definitely having business education, how to manage people and lead people, those are key skills, you know, before
Absolutely.
going into it. Because it's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
Business never is it?
No.
Oh, too funny. Well, that gives me a great picture of kind of where you guys are today. I'd love to hear, what you can share. What are your guys' big plans, you know, going forward? Where do you see the company?
Oh my gosh. You know, people ask that. They're like, how many salons do you want? And you know, Troy and I, we're like, you know, we're happy with 4. We were happy with 3. You know, we open a new salon when we're kind of busting at the seams and we need to open a new salon.
Mm-hmm.
So, future, I think there's a lot of, you know, we'll continue to share with other salons like we do now. We're strengthening our education program where we're allowing other salons or other stylists from Calgary to attend classes. You know, I think that if we raise the bar in the industry, it's good for everybody. So we'll continue to do that. I don't know. There's, you know, we're always curious. I don't know what will happen with AI, and, you know, if there's anything that will dramatically change our industry that way, but we're always open and curious and, you know, asking questions. So
that makes sense. Exciting times.
Yeah, it is always.
Really great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. It's been great getting to know you a little bit better and hear more about RedBloom.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thanks so much for your time.
You're most welcome.